Now, earlier today, we saw 4 of the 19 South African men who were stranded in Russia arriving back home. 19 men, mostly from KwaZulu-Natal, were allegedly lured to Russia under false pretenses and subsequently deployed to the front lines of the war in Ukraine. Upon landing, our reporter Tambo telling us that they were being processed at the police station at the Tambo International Airport. International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamola speaks to us this evening. A very good evening to you, Minister, and thank you so much for your time. So 4 out of the 19 have arrived back home. When are the others coming?
Ya siyabonga kakhulu umsakazi. Asazi ukuthi labanye bazofika nini. Kodwa siyazi ukuthi uMngameli uRamaphosa noMngameli uPutin bakhulumile ngale ndaba yokuthi labantu bebakhona basebenzela inkampani zangasese zema security endaweni yaseRussia. Then bazobavumela ukuthi babuye uma bakhansela ama-contract wabo kule ndawo yaseRussia. And bavuma ukuthi abaningi babo bazuza kancane kancane what could be in drafts. But we cannot confirm nor deny the exact period and time because it is solely the government of Russia. But indeed, it is underway and it is in process.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that it doesn't necessarily mean that they could be on their way now. It all depends on the processes in Russia.
Yes, indeed. And lokho sikudlulisele kumndeni yabo bonke ukuthi uMngameli ukhulumile noMngameli waseRussia nekuthi iprocess yokuthi bonke babuye iqalile and kuyathembisa ngoba inkulumo yabo beyipositive kakhulu. Siyathemba ukuthi bonke bazogcina babuyile bafikile ekhaya. Kodwa asikwazi ukuqinisekisa ukuthi bazofika nini bonke la eSouth Africa ngoba lokho konke kuzobe kusemandleni wehulumeni welizwe laseRussia. And sibabonga kakhulu ukuthi baya cooperate nathi. All
right, Minister, I know the temptation is always that you and I speak in isiZulu because of the other program, but tonight, if I may ask you that we speak in English, if it's okay, we'd appreciate it. So let's speak about, because earlier on we're in conversation with our colleague Tambo, who was telling us that they are actually at the police station at the Tambo International Airport. And the big question then is, are they being processed at the airport as victims or mercenaries?
Yeah, I think that will have to be communicated by the police, the processes that they are undertaking. From our side, we have received them at the South African mission in Moscow and assisted them with consular services to enable their smooth return to the Republic of South Africa. And once they land in the Republic of South Africa, it is up to them to go wherever they want to go, particularly to their families, but it's also to the South African police services to attend to their own processes. So our work ends when they land at Tambo, supporting their arrival to the Republic of South Africa. And from there, the police, if there is any issue with any South African, they take over their own job.
What have you been able to establish from the consular support staff in Russia as far as they're concerned? What have they said as far as information is concerned, how they got there, who led them to Russia? Because we know there's been a lot of speculation back here at home with lots of us still waiting for answers.
Yeah, obviously, because of the sensitiveness of the matter and the nature of this matter, it's difficult for us to disclose a number of issues that were communicated to the consulate by the detainees or by the retainees that the police are processing. The only thing we can say is that they were lured indeed under false pretense, and that is a subject of a police investigation.
And quickly then, before we move on to other matters, let's talk about locating the men themselves. How difficult was this? Because I know the last time you and I spoke, you were talking about the fact that, yes, work is still going to get underway. And now tonight you're talking about the cooperation between the two countries and how the Russian government has been able to assist. But there have been concerns about the fact that if they're in the front lines, it might be difficult to locate them. How challenging was this process?
Yeah, indeed, it was a challenging process. It remains a challenging one for the ones who are still in the front line, because, as I have said, they are alleged to have been lured by a private security contractor to the Russian government, and the Russian government is only assisting us for their return. So that really complicates the situation, because they were not, according to the Russian government, recruited directly to the Russian army, but to a private security or a private contractor that they have been fighting with in the front line. So that complicates the whole situation. And because of that sensitivity and the difficulties, we had now to escalate the matter to the president of the Russian Federation, and he has been very helpful and cooperating with President Ramaphosa in supporting our efforts to return the South Africans.
And I suppose we have to wait then as information becomes available. So there is another developing story. The Board of Peace is due to hold its first meeting on Gaza, and it comes at a time as the situation in Gaza remains a global concern. How is South Africa viewing these developments?
Yeah, as you will remember, we have, during the AU sitting, welcomed the process of the Board of Peace, and did mention caution that it should not replace the UN Security Council. It should work within the UN Charter and be supportive of the peace process, and also incorporate the people of Palestine to be part and parcel of this process, and that must lead to a two-state solution in line with the UN resolution on the two-state solution.
Do you think that could be, though, given the fact that it appears as if the U.S. wants to posture this as a body that could resolve future conflicts, or even be a body that challenges the work of the UN Security Council? Do you think your call could be something that is heeded?
Yeah, hence we are cautioning and looking at the matter with great circumspection, so that the international law, the UN Security Council's role, continues to be respected on issues of world peace and security. While we still continue to call for the reform of the UN Security Council, we view it now as a body that is responsible in line with the UN Charter and the founding documents of the United Nations.
Minister, appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much for speaking to us. The International Relations and Cooperation Minister there, Ronald Lamola, speaking to us about the developments on the 4 of the 19 South African men, in fact, who were stranded in Russia. And according to the minister, we're still awaiting then to hear on when the others will return back home. It's still, of course, a lot of processes, as he mentioned earlier on, that still need to get underway. All depends on the Russian Federation as to how then things are processed on that front. So certainly no date at this stage as to when the remainder of the group will be making their way back home, but saying that the two countries nonetheless are in fact working together, and there is mutual cooperation on that front.